Hey everyone, for this week's weekly update, I'm going to tell you a story that I think serves as a really good example of the kind of work me and my team here do to serve people in Utah. Last April, ice was pushing up against the Panguitch Lake Dam, and it caused the 153-year-old dam structure to start crack, and it was failing. To give you a sense of how serious that is, 1,700 residents in Garfield County were put on notice to prepare to evacuate in case that dam failed and all the water came through in a hurry. Thankfully, crews stabilized the dam. It didn't fail, but that left us with a cracked dam. Since then, West Panguitch Irrigation and Garfield County have been trying to get a permit to remove the dam and replace it with a new dam about 40 feet downstream so that we wouldn't have a dam failure in the future. It's an essential source of water for that area, for the farmers, the ranchers, residents of the city. And I'm happy to tell you that we finally got a permit. It was granted with a lot of work from the locals and the help of my team, but getting a permit for this kind of project is onerous, it's burdensome, sometimes it takes several years. Since the dam was built in 1872, it's considered a cultural resource. But the cracking in the dam was so severe that it was probably going to fall apart anyway, and it was a public safety hazard. So we had to weigh both of those things. Additionally, there are wetlands downstream. That is another layer you have to consider when you're trying to get a permit. That made it more difficult, even though the county knew how to and was prepared to mitigate and offer up mitigation for the wetlands. So my team went to work. We helped the county navigate the permitting process with the Army Corps of Engineers and the U.S. Forest Service. And through that work and that dedication, they were able to get their permit in 14 months, which sounds like a long time, but it's a lot shorter than the potential 5 years they thought they were facing at the beginning. So I want to share a few messages with you from people on the ground in Panguitch who were part of this process. Go ahead and have a listen.
Hello, I'm Alan Henry, president of the West Panguitch Irrigation Company in Panguitch, Utah. I just want to give a shout out to Representative Celeste Malloy for her help in getting our moving forward with getting our dam replaced. This was a very scary moment for the entire town of Panguitch and our farmers and ranchers. She stepped in immediately wondering what she could do to help. She's been very good to help us get through some of the environmental and regulatory stuff. We just appreciate all the good work she does and the help. We're ready to we're accepting bids within a week and have the dam reconstructed this fall. Thanks again, Celeste.
I'm David Dodds, Public Works Director for Garfield County, and we just wanted to give Celeste Malloy and her staff a shout out for helping us work with federal agencies to help move along the Panguitch Lake Dam project. Several months ago, we had the dam partially fail, and she's done a great job at helping us work through the permitting process to keep that project moving. And we just wanted to give her a big thanks from Garfield County.
While we were able to get a win here, there are thousands of critical infrastructure projects that get stalled out across the country. We have a lot of them in Utah's 2nd District because of our slow, complex, and sometimes confusing permitting process. We need this process to be transparent, we need it to be predictable, and that's why I introduced the FREE Act. The FREE Act would streamline federal permitting by creating a permit by rule system. Under a permit by rule system, agencies that issue permits have to tell applicants what their pre-established criteria are for issuing a permit, and when an applicant meets that criteria, they either issue a permit or say why those criteria weren't met and what needs to be done to address that. I've got good bipartisan support on that right now. So one of the things we can all agree on in Washington, D.C. is we need to get our permitting process fixed so that it's not slow, expensive, and burdensome. I'm so glad we were able to speed up the process for this one essential project in my district. Now let's pass the FREE Act so we can support all of the projects in rapidly growing communities and aging infrastructure and encourage innovation in Utah and in this country. That's it for this week's Highlight on the Hill. I'll be back next week.